Brigadier General Elijah Cross had worn the stars of his nation with pride, his uniform a tapestry of battles survived and missions won. At 53, with silver at his temples and a chest gleaming with ribbons few civilians could even name, he commanded respect everywhere he went, or so he believed. That illusion shattered one rainy night in a forgotten Virginia town called Millstone, where ignorance still outweighed honor. Elijah's mission was simple: stop briefly for dinner on his long drive to Fort Liberty, where he was scheduled to deliver a classified briefing the next morning. He pulled his rental into the cracked parking lot of Millie's Diner, a relic clinging stubbornly to the side of Interstate 95. The neon sign sputtered in the misty dark, promising warmth and fried comfort food. A few truckers lounged outside, nursing cigarettes. Inside, the bell chimed as Elijah entered, his presence drawing glances but no overt reactions. Wearing full dress blues, stars glinting on his epaulets, Elijah settled into a booth and ordered a cheeseburger and black coffee. As he waited, he thumbed through his phone, messages from Central Command, a loving text from his wife Naomi, wishing him safe travels. Routine. Ordinary. Outside, officers Brandon Cutter and Luke Voss leaned against their patrol cruiser, watching. Cutter, a thick-set man with a perpetual scowl, jabbed a finger toward Elijah's sedan. Military plates, he muttered, chewing his lip. But that guy? Doesn't look right. Playing dress-up, maybe. Voss, younger and cockier, snorted. Yeah, right. In this town? Stolen valor, bet my badge. Neither bothered to run the plates. Neither thought to check the tags. They simply waited, their assumptions growing more dangerous by the minute. Elijah ate slowly, savoring the greasy burger and letting his mind wander through the briefing ahead. Jenny, the young waitress, refilled his coffee with a warm smile. Passing through, sir? She asked. Yes, ma'am, Elijah replied with a nod. Big meeting down south. Jenny chuckled. Don't see too many generals around here. Elijah smiled politely, but said nothing more. He finished his meal, left a generous tip, and walked out into the chill night air, keys in hand. That's when it began. Freeze. Cutter barked, stepping from the shadows, flashlight blinding him. Elijah stopped immediately, hands raised slightly. Good evening, officers, he said calmly, projecting the steady tone of a man who had de-escalated far worse situations in Baghdad and Kandahar. Nice costume. Cutter sneered, the flashlight skimming over Elijah's medals and ribbons as if they were counterfeit merchandise. Where'd you steal that uniform? Elijah's jaw tightened, but he kept his voice even. Brigadier General Elijah Cross, United States Army. Identification is in my wallet, left side. Voss circled like a shark, grinning. General, huh? Let's see it. Real slow. Elijah moved with exaggerated caution, pulling out his wallet with 2 fingers. Voss snatched it, flipping open the military ID and frowning at the authenticity. He tossed it to Cutter with a shrug. Could be fake, Cutter said. You don't look like any general I've seen. The implication hung thick in the misty air. Elijah's gaze was steely. How many black generals have you met, officer? Or is the problem that I don't fit the picture in your head? Tension snapped like a live wire. By now, several patrons from the diner had drifted outside, phones discreetly raised. Jenny stood by the door, her arms crossed tightly, her face pale. Hands on the car, Cutter barked. I am not resisting, Elijah said, voice low. But you have no legal grounds for this stop. Cutter didn't hesitate. He seized Elijah's arm, twisting it cruelly behind his back and slamming him onto the hood of the cruiser. Cold steel cuffs bit into Elijah's wrists. You're under arrest for impersonating an officer and resisting arrest, Voss crowed. Elijah did not struggle. Years of battlefield survival had taught him the wisdom of silence over indignation. My phone's in my right pocket, Elijah said coldly. Call the number labeled Pentagon. Do it now, or you're going to regret this. Save it for the judge, Cutter snapped, shoving him roughly into the back of the cruiser. At the Millstone police station, Elijah sat cuffed to a metal table, his immaculate uniform smeared with dirt and humiliation. Cutter and Voss lounged nearby, laughing about wannabe soldiers and fancy costumes. It wasn't until Chief Harold Boone, a weary man with watery eyes, entered the room that things shifted. Boone flipped through Elijah's ID skeptically. Says here you're a general, Boone said. That true. Brigadier General Elijah Cross, Joint Special Operations Command. Elijah answered, voice sharp as a blade. And if you had a shred of professionalism, you'd have known that hours ago. Boone hesitated, torn between loyalty to his men and the gravity in Elijah's tone. Finally, he sighed and shoved a desk phone toward him. One call, Boone muttered. Better be good. Elijah didn't reach for the phone. Put it on speaker, he said. Everyone should hear this. Boone frowned but complied, dialing the number Elijah dictated. After a moment, a clipped voice answered. Deputy Secretary of Defense's office. This is Brigadier General Elijah Cross, Elijah said, his voice calm but crackling with restrained fury. Connect me to Secretary Rachel Merriman. Priority 1. The room stiffened. Right away, sir, came the hurried response. Seconds later, Secretary Merriman's voice blasted from the speaker, sharp and commanding. General Cross? Where are you? What's going on? Elijah replied with crisp efficiency, outlining the illegal arrest, the mistreatment, the blatant racial profiling. The silence on the other end was brief but volcanic. Chief Boone, is it? Merriman's voice sliced through the room like a scalpel. Why, yes, ma'am, Boone stammered. You have detained a decorated United States general, a man whose service is etched into the security of this nation. Release him immediately, or I will have military police and federal prosecutors in Millstone before sunrise. Do you understand me? Boone's face paled. Yes, ma'am. Right away. Cutter fumbled the keys, his swagger evaporated, and uncuffed Elijah with trembling hands. Boone tried to mumble an apology, but Elijah cut him off with a stare colder than steel. A mistake is a typo, Elijah said. This was a choice. Remember that. He walked out of the station, shoulders back, eyes unbowed, stepping into the cold dawn like a man who had faced worse than small-town prejudice. But the story didn't end there. By midday, footage of the encounter exploded across social media. Clips of Elijah's dignified resistance, Cutter's sneers, Voss's taunts, all went viral. Hashtags trended worldwide. Hashtag Justice for General Cross. Hashtag Not Your Stereotype. News trucks clogged Millstone's Main Street. Jenny gave interviews, recounting the injustice she had witnessed firsthand. Local officials scrambled. Boone resigned within days. Cutter and Voss were suspended pending investigation. Old complaints against them surfaced, racial profiling, excessive force, ignored until now. The Pentagon launched an inquiry into law enforcement treatment of black service members. New training mandates swept across bases nationwide. Elijah, meanwhile, refused to play the victim. He delivered his briefing at Fort Liberty with his usual precision. Afterward, a young black lieutenant approached him, eyes wide with admiration. Sir, she said, voice trembling. How do you stay strong when the world still tries to tear you down? Elijah smiled grimly. You stand taller, he said. And you make damn sure the next one behind you doesn't have to fight the same battle. Millstone changed too. A new police chief, a no-nonsense Latina veteran, took the helm. Bias training became mandatory. Community oversight committees sprang up. School children learned Elijah's name not from textbooks, but from living memory. Months later, as Elijah and Naomi sat on their porch watching the sunset, she handed him her phone. A photo blazed across the screen, Elijah at Millie's diner, in full dress blues, smiling calmly. The caption read simply, Real heroes don't need capes. She squeezed his hand. They see you now, Eli. Really see you. Elijah leaned back, feeling the warmth of her hand, the weight of his journey. Scars remained, but they no longer burned. They bore witness. They spoke not of defeat but of endurance, of dignity, of truth that refused to be silenced. And so, Brigadier General Elijah Cross walked forward into the future, his steps steady, his heart unbowed, a living testament to a truth the world could no longer ignore. Respect is not given by permission, it is earned by existence.